Today we're going to be talking about something which is probably one of the most important lessons for people to watch who want to get into the conspiratorium, into this world that we live in. And I use that word somewhat laughingly and somewhat jokingly, but I mean it. We are a unique group of people. And for those people who have never found themselves in the position of knowing exactly how things work, let me see if we can, how do I say this? Let me see if we can, hang on a second. See if I can explain this for you, okay? Please forgive me. There's so much going on. First, and this is important. This is critical for me to explain to you. Number one, before we get going into this, let me see if I can draw you kind of out of your level by explaining to you a couple of things here which are critical. Number one, the how do I say this? The people who find themselves in this are good people, but they find themselves sometimes a little bit, shall we say, over their head. There are people in our community who love to be expert. They know everything. We're going to talk about that. We're going to explain the mindset of people, the mindset, the way people think about these various issues. Because if you don't understand if you don't understand the psychology of what's going on, you're missing the point altogether. Okay? Okay. Now, before we begin, let me say first and foremost, I want to remind you that on this 22nd of February, I'm going to be at the cutting room here in New York City, doing something which you have not seen before. It is not a comedy, where I get up and tell jokes, I play the guitar, to do some things. This is an interactive. This is me and you talking about what's going on, and something that is so refreshing to be in a room where you are also among other people, like-minded fellow travelers. And we have one, and it's a strategy session. It's fun. It's a lot of gloating. The 22nd of February, tickets and information are available right here in the description section here. Please join us. February 22nd. Okay. Now, let me explain to you. Many of us from our generation believe first we're introduced into the world of conspiracy by virtue of, and thanks to, the Kennedy Dispatch. I've got to be very careful if I use the wrong, we're going to call it the Dispatch, okay? And I think you know what's going on. These machine algorithms, they hear a word and they say, oh, I don't think this is suitable for advertising. I say, but I'm not, okay, so whatever. Because of the self-dispatch and the unliving and all of these terms, we have to come up with these cutesy ways because we still live in this ridiculous world where this algorithm, no matter how, and by the way, I don't believe for a moment it's really that crude. I think it's done to make people be hesitant and to provide prior restraint, to make people not say what's on their mind. Remember, if you ran a country, you do not want people speaking their mind. It's that simple. I don't know how to tell you this in any other way other than that. It is not simple. Okay. Now let's go through this. President Trump has indicated that he is going to release the files regarding MLK, RFK, and JFK as to their untimely demise. Okay? All right. It doesn't matter, because you are never going to find out what happened. Never. It's never possible. It will never be. You'll never hear the answer. You just won't. And there's a reason for it. It's not out of anything, and we've got a lot of explaining to do today. We're going to be doing some question and answers and all that stuff. First, this was the first time that any of us, I was 5 years old at the time. Most people remember kind of where they were. And I remember the first time I saw my mother, I knew something was really up. She's watching TV, she's freaking out. And I remember this, you saw pictures of John Kennedy and John Jr., with the salute. And it just like, what did they do? What's going on? What the hell is happening here? Okay. Everybody knows, number one, absolutely, this was the subject of a conspiracy. The word has been used for so long by so many people that they've lost all conception of what it means. It just means that Lee Harvey Oswald was not acting alone. That's all it means. There were two or more people in a sinister criminal confederation. That's all it means. Does that make any sense to you? That's all a conspiracy means. If you did it by yourself, normally sometimes you are involved in certain things such as I've got a getaway driver, or you very few times are people not in they do things literally by themselves. Maybe a shoplifter, maybe a mugger, maybe somebody who doesn't, but usually there's somebody who's with you, a getaway driver. That's called an accessory after the fact. Somebody who assists you, that's called aiding and abetting, or an accomplice, or, to use a word, principal in the first degree. And accessory after the fact is somebody who harbors a criminal, somebody who after the fact. If you're a getaway driver, you are as guilty as the principal. So not only is it an accomplice, but there's a conspiracy. And the conspiracy is merely the agreement. Let me see if I can explain this again. People don't understand this. It's very difficult for them. It's the agreement. Forget what it was. I don't even know it's almost like Catholic Church when we used to hear in the old days. If you lust for your heart, you might as well, or whatever, if you think something incorrect, you might as well do it because you've thought about it. I thought, okay, mum's the word, I might as well. Conspiracy is merely the agreement. That's all it is. We don't even know what it is. A conspiracy to, and then it's a conspiracy to commit, self-dispatch or dispatch is one thing. Okay, fine. So, but we all know, and there are people like, who was it, Posner and others, who come along with these crazy ideas in these books that somehow there was this idea that Lee Harvey Oswald, on his own, without any nonsense. Okay, so we all can agree on that. All of us. That's where it ends. That's it. That's it. I can't tell you anything more. Now, there are these people that you will meet who are instant experts. They love everything. They read this and they read that. Or they saw a movie. Oliver Stone did more. He created this genre, or as they say in the mob world of YouTube's genre, this genre. Our good friend Geraldo Rivera, Horrendo Revolver, as they say, did more because he showed the Zapruder film for the first time ever. It was in a show called Good Night America, whatever it was. Those were, and all of the stuff that happened, the thoughts and the Jim Mars and the what's his name, the guy from the New York lawyer. Anyway, they did this prior to the Zapruder film, Warren Report. They were all going on. People knew, but they didn't find out anything. Nothing. I mean, they found out stuff. But we don't know who did it. We don't know who did it. I just did a story about Lucien Sarti. Just did a video. Lucien Sarti. Do yourself. You want to have some fun? You want to go down a wonderful, not a rabbit hole. I hate that term. Why do people call it a rabbit hole? They sound like there's no end to it. Like this is a waste of time. It's like, no, it's not a rabbit hole. What are you talking about? Badge Man, Lucien Sarti. This is one of the best stories ever. This makes probably because I want to know the specifics of who did it. There's a picture of him. You can see it. You can see the colorized version of it. You can see all this stuff. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beauteous. It's this wonderful story. And what a lot of folks don't understand, they don't grasp is, well, why do we know about it? Here is the link right here. This is the link. Go watch it yourself. And he was so interesting. This Lucien Sarti. I've always wanted to know. 34 years old. He was dispatched in Mexico City. He was a key figure. He was part of the French Corsican heroin network, led by a nutso, got to use that word, collaborator, Auguste Joseph Ricard. And he'd been long implicated in one of the 20th century's most incredible, infamous events, the JFK incident. And there was a reporter, there was an investigative journalist, Stephen Ravelli. He said that Sarti's involvement was orchestrated by an Antoine Guérini and executed with the help of two other members of the Marseille mob. And as per this Christian David, who was a contact with the Corsican mob. Remember, Corsican, Marseille, French connection mob, that gave way to the Southeast Asian Mexican heroin. Remember that? And the mob too. Remember, later on, the mob, where did they go? They would go to Turkey, they would go to Sicily, and then here. So a layer of this, not a reason, but a layer of this is who these people were and where they came from. And they think this guy was known for having uniforms on the grassy knoll, frangible bullet. And the sequence of events reportedly unfolded, they say. They talk about gunshots from the back and kind of, but the third apparently was from Mr. Sarti. And his life, this guy was a badass. Abruptly came to an end when he was likewise dispatched. I think it's a fascinating interest. It's just a very interesting story. But he was dispatched. I like that word too. In Mexico City by the police, and he was at that time. He was, let me see, how old was he? He was 34 years old. Can you believe that? 34 years old. A mere babe. On April the 27th of 72. And while ignored by the U.S. media, because the U.S. media, are jokes. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. The media here are jokes. They don't go further. They don't. As an aside, let me just give you an aside. I was talking to somebody who is in L.A., kind of a reporter type in L.A., right in this area, and I mentioned to him, what about all these, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Vision 2045, Smart LA 28, C40, 50-minute cities? He said, what? I said, this is the reason why they're doing this. This has been, and even he, in the middle of watching his entire world collapse, he didn't know that. So don't expect people to talk about this. But There was the movie France's newspaper Le Monde. Le Monde. They connected the dispatch of him in Mexico City with a covert effort involving a mafia police collaboration aimed at dismantling the Corsican Marseille connection over the global heroin trafficking routine. And the operation, the report suggested, sought to hand control of the narcotics trade to the U.S., the Italian mafia, spearheaded by Santo Trafficante from Tampa, who was involved. So you see where this is? You see all this stuff? Anyway, I tell people this and I realize, good luck telling people, go look for this. Go. They're not going to go look for it. No. Here's the guy's name. It's okay. Just tell me. Just tell me. What do you mean tell me? No, I'm not going to go look for it. I'm not going to go look for this. Why? Because I'm busy. I don't want to go look for it. You don't want to go look for it? No, I'm busy. Well, don't you think, aren't you interested? Yeah, I'm interested, but only if you give it to me. See, if you give me the information. If you don't give me the information, I don't care about it. I'm not gonna lift a finger. I'm not gonna do anything unless you give me the information. Unless you give it to me. I sit there and you dump this on me. Unless I go like that. I say, yeah, but this is the most important. This is the guy who. Don't you know how they may have come through Mexico? Waited about 10 days. Kind of walked around, looked around. Where are we going? Yeah, we have got intel, pictures, looking at shots and this and getaways and okay. And then go right back to the safe house. Wait another 10 days. Then go right back into Mexico and then back to France and it's done. Always get somebody foreign. Somebody gets caught. Who's he? I don't know. Who are you? My name is Lucien Salty. Who are you? I don't know. Who's this? As opposed to, he was with the 82nd Airborne. He's a former Delta Force, Special Force. No. So, let's go back. So then we got this latest thing right now. We got this guy named Jack Schlossberg. Okay. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, Jack Schlossberg would have never existed because nobody needs, today we need to have information constantly provided in terms of our insatiable source of information. We have to know about Jack Schlossberg. Schlossberg is Caroline Kennedy's son. Okay? And she's got a couple of daughters too. One is whatever. Now, Jack Schlossberg, if this guy's not tweaking, I don't know what is. Remember when he was doing the voices and he's on social media and he thinks he's hot. He thinks he's his Uncle John. And they say, boy, you look like John Kennedy. Well, not really, but sort of. And this is John Kennedy's grandson. Yeah. And then he got into this social media and he says, I just want to be funny. He did something where he said, whether Usha, I guess it's Usha, Vance is hotter than his grandmother, Jackie O. He does this stuff. He kind of like quasi-incestuous. He just spews this stuff. There was a while back when he was in a car yelling at Bobby Kennedy and looking like he was tweaked out of his mind. He's got some serious problems. I'm not saying it's that, but he sounds like it. It's a very weird. And you think Caroline would say, what are you doing? Jackie would go crazy because Jackie told Caroline and John Jr., I don't want you hanging around with Bobby Kennedy and his brand because those kids were wild. This Ethel Kennedy, she had so many kids. She was like, whatever you want to do. This was wild. They were, out of control. And okay, fine. So let's back up a little bit. So Jack Schlossberg, he's in the news because he just can't keep his mouth shut because he thinks that President Trump is grandstanding and doing all this stuff. Okay. Now let me explain something to you. I have a feeling, and it is only a suspicion. I can't in any way. I don't know whether this is true. I have no idea whether this. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised, and you know that's always been my code word for. I think this, but I can't prove it. But I wouldn't be surprised. And I have this idea, this kind of a thought, that when the Kennedys get to be a certain age, they go and they meet their like HR person. Say, well, you're a Kennedy. And the number of Kennedys, the original brothers and sisters, and then their kids, and then their kids and spouses, and their kids and spouses, and the cousins. I mean, it's like bed bugs. You don't know who's who or where they're from or whatever. Okay. But at some point, they're entitled to, I guess, some cash for being a Kennedy. And I have this idea that they meet with somebody. They go to the office or something. I remember Stephen Smith. Remember Stephen Smith, the doctor, and the Palm Beach in that O bar. Remember that, where the night of the alleged R event with Kennedy. His father, Stephen, I think, was in charge of the money, or he managed the assets, or whatever it was. So anyway, it goes something like this. Now, before we give you the money and we tell you how much you're entitled to, which I don't know how much money they could possibly have, but anyway, I want to give you a scenario. You, as a Kennedy, are going to be in a bar. Maybe you've got your eyes on some little chickie. I don't know. Maybe you're just in, who knows? But you will be asked, hey, are you a Kennedy? Well, yes. And you might be an obscure Kennedy. Yes, I'm Max Kennedy's son. Who? Yes, I'm Rory's ex-husband's neighbor. But who? Anyway. And somebody will say to you, I've always was interested in JFK and what's going on with JFK. And I've had my theories. What do you think? And this is where you've got to remember, we have never said anything ever about who we thought did what or why or anything along those lines. Do you hear what I'm saying? Never. You're not going to say anything. Ever. Under any circumstances. Period. Never. What do you think? I don't know. Well, what do you think? I don't know. You could talk about his name or his memory being besmirched, and you're tired of the people capitalizing on his, I hate those things, the capitalizing on this and that and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and yeah. But you really can't do that. You can't say anything. And the reason why you can't say anything is the same reason why Wills never talks about his mother. It's the same reason we don't talk about this. Why is that? The reason why is simply like this. It works like this. We work hand in hand with the Democratic Party and with governmental agencies and the like, okay? You understand this? And we don't ever talk about this stuff. We just accept it. We could have access like you couldn't believe. Bobby Kennedy, who wants to get to red dye number 3. He wants to talk about this and talk about that. This guy's got, God bless him, he's got that one ex-wife of his they found in a barn. And then, okay. And then you've got his own father. Remember that when they said, I'm going to stop off at the prison and talk to Sirhan. Huh? This guy's been as disinterested in his father and he made some reference to the intel, saying, what are you going to do? And they realized that pissed them off more than anything. We don't say that. Why? Because the government then is still in charge now. Do you know there is a fellow, as you know, dear friends, he's the brand new John Ratcliffe. He is the 25th director of the CIA. Do you think John Ratcliffe is going to do anything to break apart the CIA? Do you? Do you think John Ratcliffe is going to say, and by the way, all you CIA folks who've suffered so much libel and slander and accusations of everything you can imagine, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm going to make sure that we find out. And I don't care. Which is exactly kind of what John Kennedy said prior to his fateful demise. Do you think he's going to do that? President Trump could. Do you think there's a file somewhere where there's pictures or movies or something? Hey, I found this box, this dusty box of files. It was behind the filing cabinet in the CIA archive. You know what they've got? They've got a picture of the actual shooters, the money that was spent, detailed explanations of the reason why. Do you think that? Do you think there exists anything, that there is a file anywhere that exists, anything that could explain anything? Tell me you don't. But people are so happy. This is great. This is great. They're letting go. They're going to release the files. The files. Yeah, the files. This is great. What do you think's in the files? Oh, the answers. What? The answers. We're going to know who did it because of the files. You're kidding me. What do you mean? There's nothing in the files. What files? Who keeps the files? How do you know the files are there? Mike Pompeo, that rat bastard, was probably closer than anybody to the truth. He said, I'm not going to do this. We're not going to let people. No. And the reason why is you don't understand the way it worked then. It was a different time. You don't grasp it. You don't understand it. You don't see it. You don't feel it. I can't explain this to people. I can't put this into perspective. It was 18 years after the end of World War II. The OSS, CIA were just flexing their muscles. We control everything. We just got done by supplanting the consummate evil. And the CIA had to have some pretty weird bedfellows and had to involve itself necessarily with people that we wouldn't necessarily be thrilled to admit we're connected with. The mob. It's the oldest thing in the book. Even after Gladio, even after all of that. We had to go into Sicily. Who knew Sicily more than anybody's business? Believe it or not, the mob. Vito Genovese, one of the worst. This guy was an animal. Remember what he did to the ex-husband of his first suitor in the village? Remember that story? Of course you do. He was a patriot. They loved this country, but they also have something else in common. And you know what that was? Well, let me tell you. They had something in common. You see, they, the mob, always seemed to be supplanted and moved and hurt and harmed by fascists, totalitarians, and the like. Who was it in Sicily? Mussolini. There were people then who were, they ran the show. Calogero Vizzini, Cassioferro, all these guys, the big machers, the Il Uomo di Onore, the man of honor. And they're tossed. And they say, this son of a gun came in here. Hey, mob, hey, mafia, want to work with us? You damn right I'll work with you. And they became friends. Absolutely. There was a guy named Cesare More. And More was the worst of the worst. This guy would torture people. He was horrible, horrible in Sicily. And the mob wanted to get rid of him. So what did we do? We worked together. We work together. I'll show you everything. We have our operatives there. You want to move into Sicily? You're going to need our help. Like this. Afterwards, who was a problem in Cuba? Castro. Who was pissed off? The mob. Santo Trafficante, the usual subs. Benny Siegel said, don't go there. Stay in Las Vegas. Okay. Santo Trafficante gets arrested one time. Who goes there with a letter of introduction? Jack Ruby. I mean, come on. Anyway, who worked with Roselli? Johnny Roselli trying to poison Castro? Who was it? He was. They worked like this the whole time. So you're going to now, in the year 2025, you're going to go back and you're going to go through files and you're going to do what? You're going to figure this one out? The mindset at the time? And I love these people say, well, you know, it's the alphabet groups. Really? Is that what you think? Take a breather right now. I'm throwing some stuff at you right now, and it is good news. It's called the truth, is what it is. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's called the truth. Because I want you to understand this notion about the mindset. But first, listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now, I want to talk about the mindset. The mindset's the most important thing in the world. The mindset and what we thought and what we were thinking as a country and where we were and who was in charge and all this stuff. I mentioned to you before that this is 18 years after the end of World War II. 18 years. Everybody who was in power then, all of the cops, everybody had served in the military. Everybody was a military, and many of them a combat veteran. It was a wild mindset. The idea at the time was that we were so invincible, nobody could bother us. And keep in mind something. At the time, look at these numbers. World War II was so brutal. There were between 50 and 85 million people around the world because of World War II. Most of them civilians. 50 and 85 million, depending upon the source. Soviet Union suffered the most, followed by China and Germany. Civilian deaths were off the chart. So Eisenhower, that wonderful guy, you love him, Ike, one time I remember reading something where he, on a morning effort, had to decide how many people were going to be basically slaughtered in this one particular campaign. And he said, okay, I'm going to move them here. And he, with a pen, he said, we're going to move them here. And with that, he basically signed the warrant of American soldiers. He thought nothing of it. Why? Because this is war. And if you said, yeah, but you don't understand, he said, excuse me, this is war. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Now, if there's this guy named John Kennedy who comes along, this guy named John Kennedy, and he and his brother are doing things which could affect the stability of the country and affect all this hard work, do you think these people would have any problem whatsoever doing anything to remove the problem, especially after he and his brother, I'm going to break us into 1,000 people? No. CIA was OSS. This is Wild Bill Donovan. We didn't get into that. Alan Dulles wasn't a good guy, a bad guy. All of these experts know, well, it's the alphabet, because the worst thing that ever happened was they said, we're not going to do this again. Mockingbird, Ajax, MK Ultra. I don't want Stargate. I don't need this. Operation Project Blue Beam and Popeye. I said, we got to stop. Why are we declassifying all this stuff? And Richard Helms, Helms was a bad guy too, but Colby, it took him out so obvious. So let me see if I can explain this. This is a different group of people. So you go look through your files all day long. Go look through them. And have you ever had the chance to meet with or be a part of have you ever been a part of a group of people who call themselves Kennedy researchers? Pilgrim says, Novus Ordo Secundum, a new order of the ages. Yep, we know that. Thank you for that, my friend. Spandex says, Warren omission, nice, neat package of deception. Absolutely. Charlie Calais says, if anybody has anything, it would be J. Edgar Hoover. His files are long gone. No, it wouldn't be him. No. I was born 14 years after World War II and 14 miles from Dachau. Okay, you got a perspective. No. See, first of all, you see what happened just, and I like Charlie. Charlie says, if anybody would know. No, it wouldn't. No. You think J. Edgar Hoover was internal? I knew some stuff. J. Edgar Hoover had his own problems. J. Edgar Hoover was so compromised because they knew he and the mom, they don't want to get near him. J. Edgar Hoover was not what you think he was. J. Edgar Hoover, Frank Costello owned him. J. Edgar Hoover was a degenerate gambler, and just don't think so. I want you to go back and realize, start off with this. Everybody say something. Raise your right hand. Say after me. I don't know anything. Say after me. Everybody say it. I don't know anything. Poppy Bush. Prescott Bush. You don't know anything. I don't know. We don't know anything. Say it. Say it. You don't know anything. I'll throw something out. I'll throw something out. Well, Kennedy had that affair with that German. Okay. What does that mean? I don't know. You want to talk about pain? You want to talk about the woman who is, this is the landlady. This is Oswald. What was her name? Payne. Oh, yeah, Ruth Payne. You ever heard these stories? Oh, my God, they go so deep into Ruth Payne. Andrew says, releasing the files is a power play. Trump's saying to Intel, you're not telling me what I can and cannot do. Like my predecessors, nothing in those files. Yes, there's nothing in the files. So they're predicting, okay. Listen, don't take this the hard way. You know and I know Trump is he loves being Trump. He loves signing those messages. He loves those orders. I love the guy. Believe me, I'm telling you right now. But just remember, say something. You don't know anything. Nothing. There is a cottage industry of these JFK experts, and they've got files and books and movies, and they don't tell you anything. Yeah, but Ruth Payne and Tippett were having an affair at Tippett. What does that tell you? Who did it? I don't know. Well, quit talking about Tippett, and who cares? Well, it was a Mauser. And the sniper's nest, the gun they found had Mauser. Okay. Didn't say Mannlicher Carcano. Okay. What? We know it's a conspiracy. Okay. What does that tell you? Who was it? Well, I don't know about that. Have you ever been around MUFON, Mutual, whatever, unidentified UFO network? You ever go to one of these things? Oh my God. They don't tell you anything. Want to see the Tic Tac video again? No. I told you, great book by Elizondo. And this went under the water. What is it? I don't know. Where's it from? I don't know. Is it ours? I don't know. But if I saw this, I got some lousy pictures of it. I got a great thing. What have we known? I don't know. Nothing. But we know there's something there. It's like there's something eating, like you go out in the backyard and something's knocked over your garbage can. And something has been eating it. What is it? I don't know. We don't have a ring camera. Could be a raccoon. Could be a bear. I don't know. But it's something there. We have any prints? No. I don't know. But that's the way this is. But in our group, there are people who just love to say, I know everything. You don't know anything. One time, Mrs. L and I were driving to D.C. in the Yugo. It was a stretch. And we drove by, lo and behold, there's an exit, the NSA. Remember when the NSA was the biggest thing? NSA, no such agency. NSA, now you don't even read about it. Everybody, NSA, I was with the NSA. I talked to more people. You know, I was with the NSA. Really? Well, I'm SEAL Team 6. I was Delta Force. Really? Oh, yeah. I was Delta Force and SEAL Team and in the Marines and NSA and then FBI. Oh, and CIA. And we have this. Have you not seen this, Sean Ryan? If you don't see this, this is the biggest. This is a classic. It's like, hey, Ralph, what about this? Who's paying for this? For these psyops, this pro-war and intel? This is nuts. Okay, so here's a question: are these people bad? No. They see it as he was in the way. I just got done with World War II. We're military. We take people out. JM says, I know it all. Just ask my mom. Yes. I can kind of lead you in kind of directions, but I don't know yet. And I love not knowing it so that when I do know the answer, I'll be very excited. I'll be happier than anybody else because they'll say, now, finally, this is the answer. But when you've got a book coming out, JFK, you got to be unrealized majesty, JFK, appointment with, JFK. Good. You don't know anything. It was so easy. They just got off of World War II. They've got connections. They have done, I don't know what these reactions things are. They have been doing plans, and they wanted to do Northwoods. Remember this? Remember Operation, let me see. Remember Bay of Pigs, it was Bay of Pigs, but it was this Operation Mongoose and all this stuff. Now, I want you to meet another group of people. And I want you to listen to me. And I've known these people since that certain day on the 11th day of the 9th month, 21 years ago. Right? Did you ever have, little side story, did you ever know anybody who wanted to be a cop? I had a relative years ago who wanted so much to be a cop. I mean, he absolutely wanted to be a cop more than anything you can imagine. But apparently he wanted to be a cop, and the story in our family was his mother never wanted him to be a cop. The guy was in World War II. I don't understand this. But anyway, so later on, he was a cop, and he worked at the jail, and I was a prosecutor, and we had a badge. We all were given a badge. And he said, can I see that badge? I said, oh, yeah, it's just, we don't really use it. But he looked at it. It was the weirdest thing. Some people just get stuck with it. Pilgrim Media says My grandmother was a real estate agent in Tampa during the 60s. She bumped up against the mob occasionally. Oh, yeah. I mean, that mob was, listen, I know those stories. And I remember Santos Rafficante. Closer I ever came to him one time was at a drugstore. I knew Frank Regano, his lawyer. Henry Gonzalez was his lawyer. You know, there was Tampa was kind of a unique place. We had it was, I mean, Charlie Wald. We all know those stories. I am not, nor have I ever been, a fan of them. I have met more people. I couldn't verify that they're in the mob. They never told me they were in the mob. I never saw them in any kind of an induction ceremony. I've never seen any membership card. But everybody always says, yeah, he and so straightened out. And he's with his so-and-so family. Okay, fine. I have never been impressed, though one fellow was one of the funniest guys, absolute charmer, a rarity, from what they said. And then sure enough, later on, he had some bad things happen. Okay, but what I'm telling you about these folks is that to understand them, there are sometimes people love to play wannabes, and I know them, and they're okay, fine. But let me go back to what I was saying. There are people who love the CIA connection. They love it. I love it to an extent as I can verify it. Alex Jones, I think, inspired more people that we never really realized they're like cop wannabes. Yeah, I know what's going on. Yeah, I know about CIA. I know about those alphabet agencies. Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know about Miltier and all that. And they've been through this. And God bless, Oliver Stone created this. But the thing you got to understand is these people don't know anything. They don't know anything. You see, let me give you an example. This is kind of an aside, but let me give you an example. One of the most stupid things going on right now is this thing about Elon Musk and okay? Now, is there anybody here who believes he is a crypto, a nutso, as we say? Anybody? Does anybody believe he has been waiting all this time? Do you believe that his support of the AfD, theoretically, I think, in Germany is somehow, do you think that? Because now the ADO is saying, well, we're not sure, because Elon loves to troll you. Elon says, I don't know anything about what is and isn't appropriate. I don't know what is and isn't acceptable. I have joke. He made a joke. He was doing puns with, okay. But they jump on that. This is Elon Musk. He doesn't care. Joe Rogan said it best. He's like a weird, they love to use this word autistic, or he's an autist, or he's this or that. And he's just who he is. When you are the richest man in the world, you don't have to care about anything. Now, some people do, some people don't. Okay. That's kind of why he does these things. Let me give you another story. I have a friend of mine on the same subject. Wonderful man. Known him for years. He's a proud Jewish fellow. His family went through absolute horror during World War II. He showed me documents. I mean, this is like their deportation. The Germans were very, very, or the nutsos, I should say, were very into documenting everything. There's this picture, just my grandmother, there's a name, and they were, I mean, it was incredible. It's incredible. You hear this horrible, it's like, I can't believe this happened. Yes, okay, cut. He hates Trump. All right. Loves Zelensky. I said, Zelensky is one of the nutsos. You know what I mean? Look at what happened in the Azov battalion, the right sector. Look what's going on right there. Look, this is a Pandora, the whole bit. Yeah, but he's Jewish himself. I said, oh my God. I said, How do you not know this? How do you not know this? And then he talks about the terrible condition and said, look what happened to the J6 jailer. How about the black woman that came out? She was in jail. She was a pro-life person. I mean, do you understand what's happening here? No. So the question is, how do they do it? I know we're changing the subject a little bit, but I want you to understand something. How do they just not understand? They don't care. They're like Elon. They don't care. It's a package. They don't really understand the ideology. They don't understand that what they stand for. And I know people, Elon, and this is it. Why don't you worry about, look at these pictures. This is going on this was going on in Ukraine, the right sector. Look at what they're doing. These are the real things, the real nutsies. You know what I mean? The crazy, these, I don't want to say about this. So, in summary, you're not going to ever find out anything about who took out JFK. Never. Ever. And the reason why is there's no evidence there. They're all dead. And most people are not interested in it. They're really not. They really don't care. You know, there's more fires going on now in the La Jolla. Nobody cares about it. They get tired. Through 3 days, we're done. We're finished. They're never going to. If I told you, the evidence which is really easy, is the RFK. Remember this one. This is the best one. I never can remember this guy's. Oh, what is his name? His name is. What is his name? Let me see. What is just a minute? I never forget. And you can look this up. See, I always like researching things, but a lot of people I know, they don't particularly care for it. His name, I always look for it. Oh, God. You know what I'm talking about. Chase something or other, weed or too good. What is his name? His name is... Anyway, damn it. Somebody knows this. You know his name. What's the name of the guy? Eugene Caesar. Okay. And this is Thane Eugene Caesar. Thank you very much. Thane. I knew it was Caesar. Thane. That's the most interesting case. That's really good. Anybody interested? Nope. Rory Kennedy? Nope. Max? Nope. Ethel? Nope. Well, not now. Bobby? Meh. Explain that one. Thane Eugene Caesar. They found powder deposition. This guy it's right there. The evidence, this was in a room. And up to now. So understand something. They're not going to find out. And America doesn't want to talk about it. And then we're kind of like, we're this extreme group. We're over here. But we represent a bunch of people who really don't know anything either. We just like to pretend we do. Oh, it's the CIA. It's MK Ultra. That's it. No, it's the NSA. No, it's not. It's a warlock or whatever. It's Satan. You know, you got those and you got this one. We just say things. Well, you know, with the fires in California, there's a weather manipulation. What do you mean? There's a HARP. What about HARP? I don't know. I don't know. I got the names and I got the bumper stick. I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you want to look into this? Nah, it's okay. You know, Popeye's cloud seeding. Yeah, I know. That's it. That's where we are. We are supposedly the most connected. And watch any show, any JFK researcher. They're the most boring shows in the world. They never tell you anything. Oh, you know, we're paying the... I know the tippet and the whole big... Jesus, God, what do you... I know that. Who did it? I don't know who did it. Well, what are we talking about? Well, you know, the Mauser. I know about the Mauser. It's the same thing. UFOs. Same thing. I know. Roswell. I know. I was listening to the great Philip Corso. Available in the merch section, huh? I was listening to Philip Corso. He was great about how he saw the little caskets that came in from Roswell and the big heads. Same thing. Any pictures of that? Nah, I got pictures of it, but I got a good story of it. And I've been doing this the whole life. So think about this. I was 5 years old. So here I am. So like 61 years of this stuff. I've been going through this, kind of listening to, and I don't know anything. And you don't know anything. I do know it was a conspiracy. Absolutely. But that's it. So President Trump, release it all you want. And Jack Schlossberg, this guy's so whacked out of his mind. There's something not right with him. Remember, I'm telling you that. Oh, I'm going to talk about one later. Can you believe this story? This latest one, too. This is how stupid they think you are. Jennifer Aniston and Barack Obama. Come on. Come on. What do you think this is? What is this word for this? What is this thing? What's this facial hair thing called? Oh, yeah, beard. Well, sometimes beards can be double beard. Two people covering. One of my favorite stories is a Hugh Jackman story. I'm just saying, I don't buy it, but that's okay. So what do you do? Like in the old days. Listen, you got somebody who, yeah, I got a problem too. Just like Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. That's a double beard. That's a double. That's a double. It's a 2 for 1. I'll be yours, you be mine. Dun, 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 dun. And come on. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And let's face it, Jennifer Aniston and her people are saying, what do we do? Go ahead, mention her. Go ahead, mention. We'll do the thing. So I find that stuff fascinating to an extent. That's the manipulation of PR and all that. That's okay. That's okay. And these are the things which are so interesting. As long as we have our folks, we love the piece of, oh, that's Operation. Did you hear about Operation Artichoke? Did you hear about that one? What? A new operation? Yeah. Operation Artichoke. This is a new one. This was Project Artichoke, excuse me. This was MK Ultra. This was, yep. Wow. That's great. Artichoke. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that one. You got to research that. Oh, no. Is there a video I can watch it? No. Okay. Well, sounds kind of stupid, though. I like Mongoose, Mockingbird. Yeah. Ajax, MK Ultra, Harp. Yeah. Artichoke. Nah. Doesn't work. But that's kind of where we are. So we have titular theoretical conspiracy people who don't really know a lot. But we will never find out about this. We'll never find out. Was it Allen Dulles? Yeah. JFK. Hoover kind of everybody's kind of looking the other way. LBJ is just so happy. Mac Wallace didn't do that. Are you kidding? It's so simple. But what's interesting is the way they all immediately just covered up the brain and this and that, cleaning the actual car where he was dispatched in, cleaning it, sending it off to the Ford factory to repair. I think they used it again. I think they recycled it to repair the windshield or the hole in it from the front. How about that dude who was hit by fragments? There's no way that a bullet. Anyway, we all know that, but we don't know who. We don't know why. I kind of know maybe the why, but who? Don't know. We don't know. All right, dear friends. Thank you so much. Let me remind us. By the way, this is so good too. Pilgrim, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Pilgrim, Sparger, Andy Hessing, thank you. Charlie Calais, Spandex, thank you for this. This is fascinating stuff. But remember, just spend today. Watch anybody. JFK, who did it? And the insiders love to throw the names out. Well, it wasn't Payne. It was Payne. It was Roberta Flacknick. Oh, yeah, but don't know. But Roberta Flacknick married Payne. And it was. And then he went, when they drove to oh, that's right. And they love to do this stuff to overpower you with their information of minutia, but they still don't know who did it. Well, that's great. Wonderful. That's like saying, who knocked over my garbage cans in the backyard? Well, that's a Rubberware. That's a 20-gallon. That's a 20-gallon garbage can, yeah. I didn't ask you that. You know they don't make those anymore. Those were discontinued. I don't care about who did this. I don't know who did it, but you know that's the way you have that those two rings at the end. That's a Series 5 Rubbermaid. Would you stop it? Charlie Calais, great show. Thank you, sir. That's who the JFK people are. They tell you stuff. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I don't know. I just want to show you how much I know. And how much, and we're all going to meet. We're going to have different meetings. We're going to go around the country and meet and say the same thing. This guy's got this. This one comes in. He does it. And it's sad. You don't know anything. And even if they did tell you, you know what America would do? Nothing. All right, my friends. Lynn's Warriors, follow her now. February 22nd at the Cutting Room in New York City. The information is there. There it is. Make sure you also sign up for the newsletter. Did 2 great ones yesterday. People are getting PO'd about that. It's no big deal. And also make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Right here. Ask for it by name. All right, dear friends. And there's a brand new piece. Learn a little bit about our friend Lucien Sarti. Badge man. It's his MO. Makes sense, doesn't it? In any event, have a great and glorious day. Don't ever change, my friends. We'll see you later. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.